Hey everyone, my name is Myiesha and I'm a Sephora Beauty Director. Today I'll be showing you how I use the Tom Ford Traceless Soft Matte Foundation. So there are 40 shades of this foundation. I think I narrowed it down to shade 7.2. So it has this nice little airless pump, so as you use it, it'll go up and up, so you know exactly how much is left in there. And you just twist it to use, which I like because I tend to knock over my foundations quite a bit. I would say one pump is gonna be a good amount for like a sheer to medium coverage. I'll be using the number 64 Pro brush. I'm using this because it's a little denser, a little rounder. I have acne scars, so I want some pretty good coverage. So I'm just loading out my brush, meaning I'm putting the foundation into the brush. Where I need the most coverage is right on the jawline. I tend to break out there the most, and I need less coverage in the center of my face. So I tend to start at the jawline, and what I like to do is apply a very thin layer of foundation first, and then I decide if I need to go back in and add more. I like matte foundations because I have oily skin, but I appreciate that this foundation is for all skin types. This has a 10-hour wear on it. I did prep my skin earlier with lots of hyaluronic acid, but the foundation also has hyaluronic acid in it, so kind of getting that double whammy of hydration, which I think is super important, especially if you have oilier skin. I live in LA. We're sort of transitioning to fall, which doesn't mean much as far as seasons go, but my skin always gets really dehydrated around this time, so this is the perfect time to try a foundation with hydration infused into it. It has these little micro spheres in it, which I remember when I was researching it, when I was talking to the Tom Ford team, I was like, oh, micro spheres, I want to experience that. And I can definitely see that it almost like blurs, because I do have some like old little acne scars on my forehead that can be kind of hard to correct. So it's kind of like reflecting the light in a way where I don't have to put a ton of coverage. So I really like to work in that first layer of foundation. This is a medium to buildable, medium to full coverage foundation. And I find when people get little areas like around the mouth or maybe under the eye where the foundation tends to separate, is because they didn't take the time to really blend really nicely. Okay, I think that's good for the overall coverage. I'm gonna add some brightness to the center of my face because I kind of gave myself a little boost of color with the foundation shade. I'll be using this Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin Concealer. It's very matte, as the name implies, and I like it in the center of my face because that's where I tend to get a little sweaty. The foundation is humidity and sweat proof, so I'm really excited for that, but I like the coverage this gives me. This is the shade 3.6. So I'm taking a sponge. This is from the makeup eraser. It's called the D sponge. I like the shape of it because I can kind of get in there and apply my concealer exactly where I need to apply it. And normally I would apply just a lighter shade of foundation, but I don't know, I've been getting into brightening concealers lately. So just kind of lay it down, and then I flip it around to the flat side and just blur the edges. I've applied the foundation, and normally I don't already have eye makeup on, so I just use the sponge all the way around my eye. But because I do, I'm gonna use the number 57 concealer brush and just kind of gently blend under my eye. This is a perfect brush to sort of blend around things. So I'm gonna take a little teeny bit more of the concealer, and I don't need any extra coverage, but this just gives you a brightening effect, gives dimension to the face. And I'm gonna put a teeny bit on the chin, teeny bit above the lip, teeny bit on the nose. I feel like people kind of over apply. This step, you don't normally need more coverage. The goal is just to brighten the center of your face. I've applied my foundation and concealer, and now I'm going to set the center of my face. I'll be using the One Size Ultimate Blurring Setting Powder. I believe this is the smaller size, which I like because it's hard for me to finish a setting powder. I tend to try lots of them. So this is a lighter shade right here. It's translucent. So I'm just gonna I have oily skin, so I'm gonna put a decent amount of powder. If you have drier skin, you don't need very much. So I will be using a small brush. This is the Pro Contour number 79 brush right here. And I'm just dabbing this on where I put the lighter concealer. And this is a baking, so it's gonna be brushed away. But before I do that, I'm gonna apply a little bit of bronzer. This is from Tilbury. This is the Airbrush bronzer. I use a shade 3 when I have foundation on. If I wanna add a little color to my face with no foundation, 2 is really great. It's very subtle on me, which I really like. I'll be using an angled brush. This is the blush brush number 93. I'm basically gonna lay this down, and it doesn't have to be perfectly blended because of the next step. And basically kind of create like a W across my face. The majority of the color is on the outer part. Put a tiny bit on the temples, a little on the chin, and then I like to take a little and just go on the tip of the nose. Now, Sounds crazy to add another powder, but I have very oily skin and this is so sheer. I don't remember how I used to do my foundation without this powder because it just blends everything together. It helps me with my texture, and I think it's going to be a really great partner for the Tom Ford foundation because they have very similar kind of textures. So this is from Mercier. It's the Candleglow Sheer Perfecting Powder. It gives the skin this like really nice kind of natural glow to it. Since I have oily skin, I have to use powders in order to set my makeup properly, but I don't want to lose that glow that the skin has when it has that like natural finish to it. So I like using this because I can set but still not lose my glow. So I'm just using regular powder brush. You can use anything you have. This is another blush brush, number 96. I just like the size of our blush brushes, and this is where I'm just kind of blurring everything in. Again, it's sheer. It's not gonna add coverage. It's just gonna give you this like soft focus effect. And I kind of think that, again, this foundation and this powder are kind of like a little match made in heaven, because the Tom Ford foundation has these little micro spheres inside of it, which is what makes it matte, and that's helping to blur, like I said, like my little forehead spots that are hard to cover. And this is just gonna further blur, but not lose that nice finish. So the blush that I've been kind of using all year has been the Double Take Major Beauty Headlines blush. This is in the shade She's That Girl. It has a cream blush and then a powder one. I really dig the cream, even though I have oily skin. It's a nice like all skin type of finish, but I like to use them together because they layer really nicely. I love our pro brushes, but the blush brushes are just a really good size. This is a number 99 blush brush, and as you can see, I use it all the time. It's a little stained with pigment. Patrick likes to apply the powder and then the cream. I like to apply the cream, and if I want to use the powder, I can. Whichever texture you use on top is going to be the dominating texture. So for me, and if you use the cream by itself, it's going to have a nice creaminess to it. If I layer a little bit of the cream and then the powder over it, it's going to have this like sort of soft matte appearance to it. I like to kind of stamp in a little circle, start in the middle, and just kind of build out. And in order to blend, I like to take whatever tool I use for foundation and just hit those outer edges or go over it completely. A little on the chin. I don't know why. My grandma always did it, so I do it too. And a little on the lips, just to give a little color. I'm gonna touch up a little bit of my makeup and apply a lip, and I'll be right back. Touched up my lip and my brows a little bit, and I really like this. I've been on camera a lot this year. Because I've been home, I probably, I've been taking care of my skin pretty well, but some breakouts have been happening, and this made my skin super smooth, so I'm really enjoying this. I think this is definitely a great foundation for anybody who really wants some skincare infused into their foundation, and they want a very easy time covering up any problem areas. I love this. I encourage you to try the Tom Ford Soft Matte Traceless Foundation. There are 40 shades. The undertone is amazing. I love the fact that it color corrected my blemishes somehow and smoothed out everything. So I think I just found my new favorite foundation. As always, please subscribe so you don't miss any of our fun content. We love hearing from you in the comment section. We love hearing your ideas. So see you next time. Bye.